Welcome back, everyone, to another Captain Patriot video. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm taking a look at this very lovely video, episode 10, First Bumble Date. Okay, obviously you can tell by the picture, this is an older lady here, and obviously she's going to tell us about her first Bumble date. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Hi there, beautiful women of the world and others who are watching. So yesterday I guess...
Wait, what the fuck? And others who are watching, she's talking about me. She's talking about me right now. Beautiful women of the world. Oh, and other people who are watching. Does that include ugly women or just men? Oh, I know how this video is going to go.
I give you a rather discouraged update about my efforts to date on Bumble. And today I went on my first Bumble date. I mean, I've been on lots of dates on Bumble in my life, but this is my first time since I've kind of renewed my efforts to date.
Oh, it's not her first. It's not her first time. Okay.
Okay, so here's where I am. I went out with a guy tonight who was tall, decent looking,
handsome, rich,
wealthy, smart.
You know, it's almost like too easy now. It's almost like playing this game of like, it's like playing bingo, right? When I'm watching stuff like this, I'm like thinking, okay, what do I put on my bingo card? Rich, tall, handsome, yeah, I don't know, like nice car, nice house, things like that. And of course, fucking bingo in 2 seconds right now.
7 years younger than me, and he did
A
everything
stud.
right. I mean, he found
checks all the boxes. Okay, all
a
right.
really nice place on Yelp. He asked me out. We went out. We had an interesting conversation. He paid for the check. It was actually like
Pays on the
I got
first
up
date.
and left, and then he had just paid for everything. I'm not the type of girl who tries to, go to the bathroom to get the guy to pay, but he did pay, and it was really sweet. And and everything was fine. I think
Basically, everything was too nice and too good. There weren't any problems, and so now she's inventing problems, basically, okay? Things went too smoothly. The first date was too good. She was like expecting some sort of turmoil there, and probably kind of disappointed that there wasn't any.
He was interesting, and
It's boring for her. She wants problems.
So this is where I am. I feel very frustrated because right now what I feel like is like I'm changing, kind of like what kind of value does a husband have to add to my life at this point in my life? I
don't know, fucking companionship, maybe a life partner. What kind of value, girl?
have everything that I want, and
except for a man,
and
clearly.
I'm almost sad in a way because in my 30s, I think there was a time I would have been overjoyed to meet a guy like this. But at this point in my life, I kind of feel happy that I'm going home and I can just sit here by myself and enjoy my space and my sleep. And I don't have this huge need to have a guy like me or any kind of emptiness in my life where I feel like I need this man.
If you say it enough times to yourself, it'll be true. You can convince yourself of anything. All right. If you repeat the same thing to yourself, whether it's true or not, enough times, well, especially if it's not true, you can repeat a lie to yourself multiple times and you will start believing it without a doubt.
We went out for a drink. We went for a walk on a High Line. I think, and so when we got to the subway, like he kissed me and I kind of felt like, I really don't know how I feel about kissing someone on the first date. Not that, it's totally normal, but I kind of would like to build up to that a little more. And then, he kissed me again. And at that point, I really felt like done with the kissing. Not that there's anything against him. It just feels like something.
Hey, thanks for the dinner, bro. Deuces.
Intimate. And, I also kind of feel like a little, I think the whole thing, I worry, maybe if, I'm 43 and he's 36, maybe he, thinks that I'm like easier to take advantage of or something because I'm older and he's younger. I don't know.
I always I always imagined it'd be the other way around, that the older person has more power, basically because they're further along in life and typically have more resources to work with, right? And so that's why you always hear, usually you hear this from women a lot, is that an older man with a younger woman shows that the man has power in the relationship over the younger woman, right? Over the person he's dating. But you never hear it from the woman if it's an older woman and a younger man, that the older woman has power. It's still that the younger man has power over the older woman. You got to make it make sense to me, because it seems like it's a double standard.
But I guess, this is very incoherent, but I think like I would definitely go out with this guy again. I think he was totally nice and great and checked all the boxes. And I don't think that you have to feel like a certain click on the first date. And it was obviously really nice to spend some time with someone.
Friend zone now. Do it now. Friend zone him now. He's too good.
I think my biggest fear is that my personal psychology is clashing up against
what?
My pursuit of happiness. Like basically.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. This is actually a very good point. So aside from all the jokes and the making fun of, right, this is actually a really good point, because it's true. You are getting in your own way of your own happiness, right? You are not letting yourself be happy with someone who could potentially make you really happy. Because I'm happy. And you're gonna talk to yourself and find some sort of problem about why this doesn't work or why it can't work. And you're just not going to do it, right? Because of your own personal, desire to self-destruct, pretty much. It's very interesting. I see this a lot nowadays, is people not allowing themselves to be happy. It's very interesting, especially when it comes to dating and relationships from the women's perspective, right? That's what I'm seeing a lot, is like this really weird trend that, women have a really good thing going, and either they'll self-sabotage or they'll find some sort of problem that's non-existent to end the relationship or stop talking to the guy. So this is true. I see this happen a lot, obviously, from all the different dating podcasts that exist out there nowadays. You can just watch one of them and you'll see it happen 5 times at least.
Maybe I'm getting closer to meeting someone that I could partner with, and these ideas in my mind of what is even a partner going to bring to my life. It seems like could be perfectly great to have a baby on my own. And I'm so fortunate that I'm a woman and I can take that path, are stronger. And
what? Stronger? Wait, what? Wait, can't men also do that too? Like, can't you find like a surrogate? Isn't that like, and also, not to be rude or offensive, but biology does come into play when you're 42 or 43 and you're trying to have a child. Makes it a lot more difficult, because your biological clock, it exists, it's a real thing, and it's going to be much more difficult to get pregnant in the first place, but also much higher likelihood of birth defects when you're that age. So I don't know if she's aware of that. I don't know if she's thought about that as a possibility. So while she's like acting all empowered by saying, well, I don't need a man to get pregnant, I can just go to the sperm bank and, look at all the different profiles and pick out the sperm that I like and be like, I'm taking this one. She's not actually understanding what's required. And in vitro fertilization is also a huge thing. Like, that's a huge process. It's also extremely expensive, and it's not guaranteed to work. So, I'm kind of like just feeling for her a little bit here, because I don't think she fully understands what she's talking about.
And kind of feeling like there's no guy that I'm going to meet who's going to really bring a lot of value to my life. And I love the friendship that my co-founder brings. And do I really need anything more? And, and at this point in my life, my
friendship
urges
co-founder
for intimacy, like
urges
being fulfilled in that way by someone else, just right now seem to feel less strong. On the other hand,
libido.
As I was sitting with this guy, he asked me to show him some pictures of my trip with my mom in Saint-Emilion and Bordeaux. And as I was looking through them, I saw
some dick pics from another dude.
This guy I dated last winter who just didn't ever want marriage or children. And I just remember, I just felt like such fullness and excitement seeing his.
Oh yeah. Did you? Fullness, you say? Didn't want marriage, didn't want kids, and she was dude, it's too easy. What do you want me to say? Okay, it's too easy. I can't be mean. I can't be mean when it's this easy. Okay, it's too easy to sink my teeth into this person and not let go. Okay, it'd be. This is, I feel so bad, but also like, come on. I mean, you posted the video. All right, you knew someone was gonna watch it.
Photos and remembering that feeling I had with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that some men I'm with do elicit that, feeling of of goodness. I just feel like an idiot to be.
Her little smirk right there, dude. You know what she's thinking about. Okay, all right. You know. Look, just look at her face.
Of goodness.
Look what she looks up.
I just.
It's like the most brief little smirk.
Of goodness. I just feel like an idiot, to be quite honest with you. Like, I have this big brain and I don't know what I want, and I
How to
keep
use
inventing
it?
stories about how what I want is not what I want. Blah 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 blah. But I went on the first date. It was fine. Maybe I'll see this guy again. He lives in San Francisco, but he visits New York. He has kind of a flexible lifestyle. Maybe things with him would be wonderful. But also, marriage is an institution. It was originally a business relationship. Now women can make their own money. Women.
I can make my own money now, so I don't need men. I don't need to marry a man, which is so interesting because men traditionally all through life or all through time have never really had that perspective, and yet they've always been the primary breadwinner, right? So like, it's interesting that once women start making equal pay as men, they start being like, well, what do I need a man for then? And men are still like, hey, hello, like we're still here. Like we still want to date you regardless of you making more or less money than me. That's just like, it's just wild. It's just such a shift. It's such a cultural shift. And I think that's why we're seeing so many of these like dating podcasts pop up, is because of things like this, right? Like I think the women's perspective on dating and marriage has fundamentally been changed because the laws and the freedoms that women have now have fundamentally changed, which I think the freedom change is a good thing. However, I think the cultural change has shown to be more negative than positive. And that's a sad thing. It's like, I really wish like she's describing, she has no idea why she feels the way that she does. She can't even explain it herself. And she's the one who's feeling these things and feeling this type of way. So it should tell us all something, that she's incapable of actually describing her feelings and emotions in a logical way that would make sense to us, but also to her. She clearly doesn't understand what she's going through. So like on that front, I kind of have pity for her. I kind of feel bad for her because it's like not knowing is worse than knowing the truth. But in her situation, it's obviously the problems are self-created, right? She's living in her own mess, right? She's like, and she has no reason to not escape it, but she also likes the mess. It's like a weird, it's almost like a paradox kind of.
Can have IVF and get a sperm donor and have their own baby. The world is changing a lot.
See, the thing is, she's going to take too long to make a decision. And by the time she does come on a decision to either have IVF or try and get married and have kids, she's already way past the point of like good, strong, healthy years of pregnancy. I unfortunately don't think it's going to be an option if she waits any longer. Like she needs to make this decision yesterday. There's no reason for her. If she wants to be a parent, if she wants to have a child and leave a legacy behind, she needs to make that decision yesterday or today. And it's just like, unfortunately, I don't see that happening because she's obviously waited this long in the first place. I don't see how she could all of a sudden switch her mindset and be like, you know what, I'm doing this. Like I'm making this leap. I'm doing the IVF. I'm getting married. I'm settling down, whatever it might be for her, whatever she wants to do. I don't think she's going to make that jump. I think she's going to stay in the exact same place she's been in, which is, the boss bitch, like the working girl, not like that kind of working girl, like the one who has a 9-to-5. Okay. And that's, if that's what you want, it's your choice, but don't complain about it later in life when the option of having kids is no longer an option.
At one point you say like, well, what's organic and natural is better.
Yeah.
I don't know, people. It's so confusing.
It's
also,
not.
Jason, I just really appreciate your warm, kind words and advice. I just, I feel like to be able to respond to you properly, I need to step back and kind of clear my head and be unreactive. And I just don't seem to have the space and energy to do that right now. But I'm doing this channel publicly because I feel like if I communicate what's going on with you, I will hold myself accountable to being true to myself while dating. So
You should. Absolutely, you should.
my overarching feeling right now is,
And if you do end up watching my video, don't take anything I say personally. It's your life. You can live it however you want. I'm just critiquing it. I'm critiquing what you're specifically giving me to critique, right? Like what you're putting in the video is all I have to go off of you. I don't know you in real life. So like, obviously I'm making a character judgment or assessment based off of 6 minutes and 21 seconds of this video. So, you know, I mean, like, do what you want with your life, but just, you know, understand that, you know, life is not infinite and you have a limited amount of time to do the things you want to do in life. So if you don't utilize the time best you can to achieve whatever goals or objectives you want, you're going to wake up one day and realize it's too late. You're going to realize one day it's too late to start a family. And that's the unfortunate reality of biology, is that, you know, death comes for us all at some point, and you don't know when, you don't know where or how, but it's unfortunate that people, I think, have bought into this idea that all we're here to do is work our little fingers to the bones and never actually enjoy life. Because by the time we can actually retire and enjoy life, we don't have the energy to do so. So it's really unfortunate that a lot of people get caught up into this, you know, work-life mentality. And this was a recent video I made, was talking about, you know, the hustle culture and about, you know, lifestyle gurus and how it's actually more toxic to be this extreme workaholic than to really enjoy life doing, you know, hobbies or having little side projects or reading and things like that, or traveling. And it's just sad that, you know, we're living in a culture that is so hyper fixated on work and work culture and doing what your boss says rather than living life for yourself. You know, living for yourself is obviously going to be much more empowering and fulfilling long term than, you know, completing another work assignment. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Don't take anything I say personally, though. I don't know anything.
that making friends with more men would be an overall positive without feeling the rush of partnership. On the other hand,
You're rush if you want kids.
Continuing in online dating also seems to be valuable. I mean, it's cool that I connected with someone who's smart and good looking and wealthy and chivalrous and seems to.
You swiped right because he probably had his job in his bio. He was good looking, so good photos. Maybe he had his height in his bio as well, and you swiped right because of that reasons. You need to get off of social media. You need to get off of dating apps, and you need to find someone who is closer to you in age, closer to you in experience, life experience, and closer to you in goals, life goals. So whether that's starting a family and having a kid, whether that's adopting a child, whatever it might be, but if you don't want that, don't do it. So that's the whole point, right? Like, don't do it if you don't want to, but also don't be on like these apps, because you should know something. Being on an app like that kind of opens you up for being targeted for cheap and easy sex. That's usually what these apps are used for. Just plain and simple. That's what majority of people use them for. So, you know, just keep that in mind when you're on those apps.
To be marriage minded, if not a little too pushy on the intimacy side. But, you know,
Kissing?
It's just the first person I met. So maybe the third or the fourth person, I'm going to, you know, feel like maybe they really will have something to add to my life, and maybe not. Maybe it's all social construct.
No.
And
take some personal responsibility.
I really don't know where I was going with that. But talking about it publicly holds me accountable to what I said I wanted and pursuing what I wanted and finding out what lies there and just trusting the universe that the best possible outcome is.
Don't trust in the universe. Trust in your own decision making. Trust in your ability to discern from right and wrong. Don't trust that the universe is going to hand something to you on a silver platter. That's not going to work out well for you.
In store for me. Sending love to all listening.
The beautiful women and all the others.
On what's to come. Yes. So on one hand, you know, I feel like, okay, like all of the women I've talked to who found love in their early 40s, except one, found it online. So that is a good indication to continue online.
Misleading.
On the other hand, I feel like I haven't really made the effort to make genuine friendships with men without that pressure, like of the first date being intimate. And maybe if I put a little more energy into those friendships, some of them might evolve in a really beautiful and natural way, and it's not too late for that to happen.
I mean, you can tell yourself it's not too late for that to happen, and you could be right. However, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to actually find someone who has, similar goals or ambitions as you at your stage in life. My recommendation would be to ask yourself, what is the type of guy I'm looking for in a partner? So how can I adjust who I am as a person to make sure that I'm appealing to a person with high moral standing, good values, wants similar things as me? How do I make myself, the best possible candidate for that person to pick me, right? Because you want the other person to want you. It shouldn't be a one-sided desire relationship, right? Where one person wants the other far more than the other one wants them. So you need to understand that when it comes to dating, you can't be selfish and just want the things that you want. You need to understand what the other person is going to be looking for and try and fit those criteria yourself, whether that's through therapy or working out or getting a dog. Maybe they're an animal person. You need to figure out what it is you want from a partner and then think about that person, put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, what do I want from the person I'm going to be dating? That's how you should be looking at it, because it shouldn't be a selfish, dating should not be a selfish thing where you're just take. You should be offering things to the other person in return as for what they want, right? Can you make yourself appear to be a viable partner through just demanding things from the other person? Because I think not. And that's my opinion on that. I just, I don't know what it's like to date in this age group. I can imagine what it's like. I can imagine it's a lot more difficult because there's a lack of opportunity. There's a lack of people, in that category already, because most people are either paired up or just not looking to date. And so, you've put yourself in this position by not wanting to settle down earlier in life, whether you bought into the whole, like boss girl thing, or maybe you just weren't ready or didn't want to for whatever reason. Maybe what your wants and desires have changed over time. Either way, I think that, it's good that you're trying to go date. I think it's bad that you clearly don't know what you want because you can't even explain it to yourself in a way that makes sense. So maybe some meditation will help. Maybe talking to a therapist will help. Maybe talking to men will help. Yeah, that's the best advice I can give you. Not that you asked for it, but there you go. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.